What is the greatest completely legal loophole you know about? You can't do this anymore either. But when the US was trying to introduce the dollar coin, they were offering each coin for exactly $1. No tax. Free shipping. In an effort to get them into circulation, people were maxing out credit cards purchasing these coins for the frequent flyer miles. Then turning around and depositing these coins back into their account, costing them nothing. I heard that some people got away with doing this many times, racking up millions of frequent flyer miles before they had to end the $1 with free shipping program. Here in Costa Rica it's quite hard for foreigners to get a work visa or residency. However, it's very easy to enter the country as a tourist. The only requirement for tourists is that they can't be here for more than 3 months. So, instead of going through the whole process of getting a work visa, at least 80% of the people I know here with foreign blood simply drive up to the Nicaraguan border and come back every 3 months, allowing them to become what is known as a perpetual tourist. I know some people that have been exploiting that loophole, completely legally, for about a decade. Japanese pachinko machines. Basically, gambling in any form is illegal in Japan. But the Japanese still want to gamble. What do? Well, they go play pachinko machines, essentially slot machines with just a bit more skill involved, in a special parlor. Get a certain amount of tickets depending on how well they did. Exchange those tickets for a prize like you can in a lot of arcades, and then sell that prize at an independent business right next to the pachinko parlor for real money. You need to jump through lots of hoops. But because the two businesses, the parlor and the exchange store, are entirely separate, that creates a legal loophole that essentially allows people to gamble for cash. I got married to my college girlfriend so that she could claim in-state residency and finish her degree at my university for like half the cost they would have charged her as an out-of-state student. I also looked like a very poor head of household on paper and received a shitty ton of grant money towards my own degree. 10/10 would wed again. I lived in DC for many years. DC has a practice of refusing to issue parking tickets for Sunday churchgoers, most of whom don't even live in DC. This is an interesting cultural phenomenon unique to DC. Many black families moved to Maryland due to gentrification and other reasons but have remained loyal to their churches. So my car has been blocked in many times and the city refuses to do anything about it, effectively creating a religious free pass for parking violations. So one time I got a parking ticket and I filed an appeal saying that I was at a religious service, even though it was a Tuesday night. I wound up doing this 3 times over the years. I didn't win, but all my tickets are still pending appeal. And one of them is from 2003. Pretty sure the city doesn't want to confront the quagmire they have created by refusing to enforce laws based on religious reasons. I told my friends about this and several of them have done it as well. I used to work for a non-profit school that was funded by the state. There was a regulation that the school had to disclose how much the executives were paid. But there was no regulation against outsourcing executive functions. And there was no regulation against outsourcing to a for-profit company that didn't have to disclose anything. And there was no regulation against outsourcing to a for-profit that the executives owned. This sounds like fraud. I'm an auditor fraud investigator. And this sounds like fraud. Edit. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely legalized fraud. So me and my roommate both have Xbox Ones and play a lot of the same games. Besides having to both pay $60 for a game, we both set the other's Xbox as our home Xbox and continue to sign in and play on our own Xbox. So when one of us buys a game it automatically downloads on the other. Also gold is shared. This is on a much smaller scale than most things presented here, but I'm proud of it. My senior year in high school in Texas, 2002 to 2003, my friends and I found out that if you have too many absences you had to make up for it during Saturday school. Well, it turns out that Saturday school is only half a day and it makes up for 3 absences. So me and 3 other friends would constantly skip school. We didn't do sports, so we had all our credits anyway well before end of the year. And then on Friday nights have a LAN party and play Warcraft 3 or Star Wars Galaxies all night. The next morning, tired as hell, we drive to Saturday school and just kinda sit and stare doze off for about 4 hours and have our absences erased. Criminal barrister here. A couple of my favorites. Young man arrested on possession charge after a vehicle search. He admits possession of cannabis and gives his reply to caution, which is recorded in the officer's notebook as, "Don't strip search me." The case is an anticipated guilty plea. But at the first appearance his instructions are that the officer threatened to strip search him if he didn't admit the drugs were his. Takes it to trial on this issue. Officer denies ever mentioning strip searching the defendant. At trial the officer is questioned as to why the reply to caution was "Don't strip search me" if the officer had never mentioned a strip sarc. Pretty clever to set that up in my opinion. I do a lot of road traffic work as well, and some of the points taken are quite entertaining. Such as putting the prosecution to strict proof in respect of the speed limit for a particular road, and insisting upon a strict interpretation of what evidence would be permissible to that end. If you refuse to acknowledge a debt in the UK for 6 years, it becomes unenforceable and is written off. Sounds like a law that has not been revised for modern times. In the meantime, I'd like to take out a 6-year loan with a deferred payment plan, please. This one is because of my roommates. They would rate a Pizza Hut nearby us and get a free pizza. Go down. Get the pizza. Rate the Pizza Hut and get a free pizza. Basically they never had to pay for a pizza from Pizza Hut. However, because they aren't assholes, they would also buy other stuff. Drinks, desserts or garlic bread. Pretty small thing. But it's one I use really often. Stop signs in parking lots aren't legally enforceable. They're on private property and out of police jurisdiction. So the next time you're leaving Walmart at 3 AM, feel free to roll through that annoying stop sign in the middle of the empty parking lot with no possible repercussions. You rebel. Edit. Looks like these signs aren't usually enforceable. Certain states may have adopted laws to allow ticketing for private property infractions. Check your local laws before becoming a 3 AM Walmart rebel. In most of the world, children are actually allowed to smoke cigarettes. They aren't allowed to buy them though. If anyone wants to find the actual article, I believe there was a man in Texas, assume homeless or poor, who got a nice 3-4 bedroom home for a whole $35. When the previous owners left their suburb home, I assume a lack of payment, he paid the fee to have the home transferred to him. I believe the only stipulation was to stay 3 years and it becomes his. No mortgage. No rent. Just a $35 piece of paper. Neighborhood was pretty pissed. I applaud the man for his craftiness. You can break any law. I bought a historic office building that used to be a school using a residential home loan many years ago. This worked because the zoning was residential. I put very little money down, had low payments, and kept the whole transaction simple. Bought it for $400K, sold it for $800K, and legally used it for my office for 4 years. Adoption rehoming. Apparently it is legal to give away an adopted child to new parents. Whoa. That's so Dickensian. I work at an outdoor market and we serve beer. We get past the laws by selling a token that the beer stand next to us happens to trade for a beer. Then they bring the tokens to us and we give them money. This cop told someone I knew that if someone broke into your house, you could kill them as opposed to injuring them to avoid an excessive force lawsuit. If they are dead. When your pawn has moved 3 spaces forward and your opponent moves one of their pawns 2 spaces forward so that it's next to your pawn under the assumption that this means you now can take it, you can move your pawn diagonally behind theirs as if it had only moved 1 space forward and take it despite not moving to where the pawn actually was. En passant. Even if someone smells like they've been drinking on before the job, we're unable to officially say so. due to the fact we don't have a breathalyzer at work. When I found that out, I was dumbstruck. If you tell them it's for a bird, you get free bread at Subway. Edit. There's two types of people in this world. Those that know Mitch Hedberg. And then those that need to hurry up and discover him. There are 6 ducks outside and they all want sunships. UK. Heard that technically you don't need planning permission for stuff you build on your own land. If nobody objects within 4 years of you building it. Someone stacked hay bales ridiculously high, shielding his property from view. Then built a King castle behind it. Nobody could object to him building it because no one knew about it. 4 years after he finished, he took the hay down and nobody can take his castle away. They're still trying to though. Selling nearly depleted fusion cores back to vendors for full price in Fallout 4. Not as deep, but ordering a triple steak burger from Steak and Shake. $3.99 value menu W fries. Then ask for it on sourdough bread and add Frisco sauce. Boom. Triple Frisco burger and fries for less than a Frisco melt. Do you like The Sims 2? Ask EA support and you get the full all DLC version free. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I have earned over $90,000 by getting compensated by airlines. This is a simple trick that works well. If you know certain routes at your airport are always oversold, just buy a fully refundable fare a few days before the flight takes off. Usually this will be one or more of the oversold tickets. Just go to the airport and offer to give up your seat and reap the rewards. If not needed, just refund your ticket. Usually I book 12-18 tickets in one day and hit one after another up until my planned departure in the evening. I try to spread it across 5+ airlines to avoid seeing the same stuff. I fly for free everywhere in the world. Southwest has the best policy. Usually $300 plus twice the value of your ticket. I have thousands of dollars of credit with all the airlines that I can't even use it fast enough. Jury nullification. A German company should have paid $128 million to the government. They transferred the company to another mother company. Moved everything into the mother company by doing some restructurizing. And then deleted the old company. No money could be collected. It was in the news under the name. Worked at a restaurant where we had a promotion during the holidays. If you bought a $25 gift card, you get a $5 gift card as well as a bottle of sauce. I bought a ton of gift cards with my own money. I got the extra $5 gift cards and bottles. Sold the bottles of sauce for cheap on a local garage sale site. They retail for $8 from the restaurant. I also used the gift cards on all of my cash tables. Customer pays with cash. I use the gift cards to close out their check and use the cash to pay myself back for the gift cards. So basically, it was a free $5 for me for every $25 gift card I bought. I also won the gift card contest we had. Be careful. The guy I worked with at a restaurant was fired for doing this with Gruppens. Wanna live in Europe without a visa or legal rights to do so? Do you want to work in a highly paid European country but don't want to bother with getting a visa? Got to Svalbard in Norway. Anyone can work or live there indefinitely without a visa. Downloading MP3s from YouTube is recording a public broadcast. Like a cassette to a radio. Not top secret. But I have enjoyed the backdoor Roth IRA for years. If you have a tribal membership card to any federally recognized Native American tribe, you're exempt from Obamacare's individual mandate. The requirements for membership are set by the individual tribes. And some of them are really lax. If you have one ancestor several generations back who was on the tribal rolls, they'll let you in. Then you like me and you have a tribal membership card. Well, my dad does, so it would be easy to get one for me. But your tribe isn't federally recognized in the US. In Canada it is though. That's what you get for being on the wrong side of the French and Indian War. If you have any sort of hobby that you can show as profitable, you can claim it on your taxes. IRS will see it as a small business for about 5 years. Obviously you don't want to do this if it is profitable. It's just a backdoor way to get a little refund from a hobby. Want a handgun but aren't 21? Private gun sales in a lot of states are 18 and older, including handguns. That's how I got mine, and it's totally legal in my state. Given that you're not a felon obviously. Want to buy handgun ammo but are under 21? Tell them you have a rifle model, chambered in that caliber and viola. You can purchase your rifle ammo. There is no burden of proof that you actually have the rifle. If you're a white swimmer that goes to Stanford, the federal government doesn't have to abide by the US Constitution if they say it's for your safety. It's a matter of national security. You cannot arrest a husband and wife for the same crime. I have the worst f***ing attorneys. You can gain the free voucher for voluntary bumping at most airlines by intentionally booking yourself on a busy earlier flight if you know that a less busy later flight will get you to your destination at a reasonable time. It requires some knowledge of the schedules. But there are predictable flights that tend to get overbooked all the time. I used to fly a Friday commuter shuttle every week. I could easily make my connecting flight if I took the 7 PM shuttle into DC. But I would book the 5:30 flight instead. Every week. I'd be the first one to jump up when they asked for volunteers. In 1 year, I accumulated enough vouchers and free round-trip tickets to take my wife and kids with me to Hawaii twice. Best of all, I'd always ask for, and receive, meal vouchers. So I got to eat dinner for free while I waited for the flight I actually would have booked anyway. It pissed off some of the gate agents. But what could they do? They needed those seats. Not sure if this is proven or not. Was driving 2 of my friends home from a bar one night. One of them was about to begin law school. We were exiting the parking lot and there's a side exit that makes it easier to get back to the main road. The only problem is that there is a sign next to it that says this is not an entrance. I was hesitant about going through it because police were always around that part of town due to the bar scene. My soon-to-be law school friend said, "We're not using it as an entrance, though. We're using it as an exit." Go ahead. Best use of twisting words I'd ever witnessed. If you lose the last points on your license and NSW and overpay the fine, say by check or money order, they will send you a refund. As long as you don't cash the refund you won't lose the points and therefore your license. Lose the last points on your license and NSW. Or as P-platers know it, a single speeding infraction. Lose for the love of God. Lose not lose. A professor at my undergrad was famous for his strictness and propriety. He had a handbook that he had written himself on the codes of conduct for the class that was at least half an inch thick. Real shting diamonds type, and I hated the class. Him. And everything he stood for. One of the prohibitions spelled out in very clear legalistic language was no baseball hats in class. I observed that rule to the very letter. Every day that term I wore a sombrero. Right to repair. Void the warranty because you broke open your Xbox to find the part you need is a pain in the ass. Send it to Microsoft. They still have to fix it even though the warranty states that it is void if opened, but if you opened with intent of repair they have to fix it. Yeah, good luck with that one. Turns out to be gerrymandering. If you do your own brake job, you can buy brakes from AutoZone that include a warranty. This warranty just so happens to cover normal wear and tear. Every time you need new brakes, bring in the worn out ones and you get a new set for free. Seriously amazing. Worked for AutoZone at one time. Wear and tear is not covered. However, due to corporate environments, employees are quick to replace simply to keep customers happy, thinking it will lead to more future sales for the store. Read the warranty fine print. Lifetime warranty against manufacturer's defects. My brother told me this one works, but I haven't tried it, so not sure. If you get a speeding ticket, send a check for $1 more than the amount charged. They will send a check back for the overpayment. and will not be able to report to insurance until you cash the check, as it is not considered a complete transaction. Rip up the check and avoid the insurance premium increase. SX for money is illegal, but SX for money in front of a camera is PRN. TBH, that's not true. You actually need a permit and proof you are a legit PRN company to pay someone to have SX in front of a camera. I met a man on a plane who told me his best friend is a retired pilot. Apparently back in the day banks didn't exchange small change from other countries because it wasn't worth sending all the change back, so they would sell foreign coins by the bag by weight. This pilot would buy bags of change, and when he flew to the country the change was from, he would exchange it for a lot more than he paid for it. 123 movies. Pirata Bay. Boy. etc. They don't have any pirated material on their sites. They just host the sharing of them from other websites. People. They aren't really doing anything illegal. And companies' government can't touch it. Especially when they are hosted in foreign countries that don't give a shit.